The Commission will now take up the matter of applications for special one-day license to sell and dispense alcohol beverages for all alcoholic beverages. Jose A. Torres of the Holy Ghost Society for events at Holy Ghost Park, 65 Village Street, starting with Saturday, November 11th from 6:30 p.m. to 2 a.m. is the Convivio Graciosa event. Saturday, November 18th, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., there'll be a dance. Saturday, November 25th, 6:30 to 2 will be an engagement party. Saturday, December 2nd, 6:30 to 1 a.m., the Washington Savings Bank Christmas Party. Saturday, December 16th, from 6:30 p.m. to 1 a.m., Melvin and Sandra Velez, a wedding. Sunday, December 31st, from 6:30 p.m. to 2 a.m., the Holy Ghost Society New Year's Party. Saturday, January 6, 2007, from 6:30 p.m. to 1 a.m., Erica Valledo birthday party. And Saturday, January 13th, from 6:30 p.m. to 1 a.m., the St. Anthony's Youth Group annual dinner dance. Also, Joseph Kozalski for Sunday, November 5th, 2006, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. The event is a tailgate party with lobster and steamers within an enclosed area of the outdoor grounds of the Polish American Veterans at 201 Coburn Street.
With the parties concerned, please step to the podium. Introduce yourself.
And I'm trying to get this liquor license for these functions up there.
Okay.
Joseph Kozalski from the Polish American Veterans, looking for one-day alcohol.
Okay. Jose, are you a director of the park? Are you on the board of directors?
Yeah, I've been doing my second year there.
It's the second year, okay.
Yes.
Have you ever had any liquor licenses before?
No, this is my first time.
This
going
is
for
your first time?
Yes.
Okay,
Somebody else in the organization always gets them, so.
okay. Who's that somebody?
Brenda.
Oh, I see
Brenda.
Brenda sitting there
She's vouching for
smiling.
me.
I think Brenda's getting ready to retire. They gonna send you out with a pension? Okay. Jose, it's important. Have you ever had a one-day license, Joe?
I don't think.
Okay, why don't the two of you get together? You don't have to hold hands. Anyway, I'll say it once, the both of you. Okay, understand one thing. This is your liquor license. It does not belong to the PAV. It does not belong to Holy Ghost Park. It belongs to you and to you, okay? So therefore, anything that happens on the grounds, somebody gets served, somebody gets overserved, somebody thinks it's cute to give a drink, you know, oh, give them a sombrero, they're 19, nobody will ever know. It happens, and I guarantee you that person falls down the stairs or gets in a car accident, you're the guy that's gonna get sued, because God forbid the person stand up and take responsibility. They wouldn't do it. We see it happen, unfortunately. Okay, Holy Ghost, we have not had any problems whatsoever with the park. We don't intend to start now. The music, what time's the agreed time? What, for the I know this on the license, but what time's the music cease? Okay. I think it was agreed that something that it was 12 o'clock, that they were supposed to go to the parking lot and see if they could hear the music from the end of the parking lot. You have neighbors, you're in a residential area. You're operating much like the downtown area in Lowell. People in downtown area, this is their home. They get really upset when somebody decides all of a sudden everybody's going to stay awake all night. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Joe, what time is your thing running till? Well, 4 o'clock. Yeah. Okay. So you're not going to have any problems in your area over there, I'm sure. But your area must be enclosed. In other words,
It's on the property.
okay, inside. Now, when you say it's on the property,
Yes.
is the area that you're going to run this event separate from the area where the maybe members that you're going to sell tickets?
It's right outside the building.
Right outside the building.
Yes.
Okay, but what I'm concerned about is people coming that aren't going to attend your event getting into the building.
No.
Or people getting in the building, coming out and joining yours and carrying booze back and forth.
I understand.
Or beer.
No, that's not going to happen
Okay, your area's gotta be defined. This is where we're holding it, okay? And of course, your area, as I say, you've got the neighbors, you've gotta think about it. The most important thing to remember, though, is it's your license. See, things start to get out of hand, if, I don't know, have you arranged for a policeman?
Yes.
You usually do. Are you guys gonna get a policeman? No. But have the number right there.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be afraid. I remind you of the ordinance. If there's any kind of an altercation, you must call the police. Please, call the police. We will never use that against you. We will never use it against you. If we find out the police had to respond and nobody called, we're gonna use that against you, okay?
Yes.
We're looking for your safety, the public safety. I hope you have a great event, you make a lot of money. 2 o'clock in the morning is kind of late to run things, but I'm sure that you're a babe in the woods and you're going to get started. And
No, I'm always there. I'm always present there anyway. So
Okay.
I just
And
never
this
got a
lady
liquor
has done a
license.
wonderful job. I hope the organization recognizes that she has done a wonderful job. We haven't had any problems, we haven't any complaints from the neighborhood, and that's the way we want to keep it. Commissioner Gary,
Make a motion to approve.
see how easy he is?
Thank you.
The guy's easy. Motion made and seconded. Anything you have to add to it, Sergeant Trudell?
Just pertaining to the Holy Ghost, there was a stabbing that occurred there about 6 months ago, and they agreed to make sure there's sufficient police personnel
Yeah.
on scene. And out of the stabbing, there was no police officers. Should I forward this list over to the detail office for police officers, or do you want to call?
Yeah, we call for police officer. We do call.
I'll forward the list over to the detail officer, let them know
Okay.
to expect a phone call.
Okay.
We do call to get a police officer.
Okay.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Next on the agenda.
Commission will now open the hearing on the allegations of misconduct as charged by the Deputy Superintendent of Police, Kenneth LaValle of the Lowell Police Department, against the licensee Dorama LLC, doing business as Rumba's Nightclub, Felix Pino manager, and all alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 72, 74, 76 Merrimack Street. Mr. Chairman, the matter of Deputy Superintendent LaValle's complaint involves two separate incidents. One took place on September 18th, 2006, and the second was October 1st, 2006.
Okay. I'm sorry, say again? Two different instances on,
I got October 9th and October 11th letter. Let's see here. Oh, September 18th and October 1st, yeah.
in October.
September 18th. there.
Yeah. Oh, in October for, yeah. I'm looking at this up here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those are the
okay.
dates of the letters.
Were you notified that you have the right to be represented by an attorney?
Yes,
You were, okay, and you waived that right? Okay. Introduce yourself for the record.
my name is Felix Pino, manager of Rumba's Nightclub.
Okay. Have you read the do we want to take both of these complaints, or we want to take them one at a time?
I think one at a time would be better.
One at a time. Which, take the September complaint first, please?
Sure.
Okay. Could you, in your own words, Sergeant Trudell?
Well, I'll
give us-
paraphrase, it's quite lengthy.
Paraphrase it.
We have four different issues that we're going to address. One is that no licensee shall permit an illegality to occur on licensed premises. And we're going to itemize them as disorderly conduct. Two individuals were arrested on this date. Sale or delivery of an alcoholic beverage to an intoxicated person, we'll be able to prove that. Assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, two with a bottle, and impeding or delaying an investigator of the ABCC, which would be the police officer or police officers who responded to Rumba's Nightclub that evening. On September 13th at about 1 a.m., Officer Vincent Fernandez was assigned to Portable Route 7. That's a walking beat downtown. He was dispatched to Rumba's Cafe. This call came in from a patron at the club. At no time did it come from any personnel at the establishment. This was confirmed by contacting dispatch, who related information to the investigating officers. When Officer Fernandez arrived, he was encountered by an individual named Mark Russo. Mark Russo stated he had been inside the club and had been assaulted with a beer bottle near the bathroom. He had scratches on his face. There was no indication that there were any cuts from any beer bottle, and Mr. Russo was very vague, and he changed his story multiple times. The interesting thing about this is Mr. Russo was very, very intoxicated, and at some point he became belligerent, and he was then placed under arrest by Officer Fernandez. A short while later, a friend of Mr. Russo's by the name of Michael Monsalvo, he also came outside and got into a confrontation with another officer, Officer James Casella. At that time, Mr. Monsalvo was also placed under arrest because of his obscenities he was yelling. He pushed the officer, and he began swearing at the officer. The officers then continued to work on the investigation, and they again determined that the individuals inside the club were very reluctant about allowing them to search the premises. They were reluctant in assisting them with looking for items that Mr. Russo said he had lost inside the club. This is why we included number 4 in the allegation, impeding or delaying an investigator of the ABCC. Time and time again, the Lowell Police have gone to this establishment, and every single time we've gone there, we've run into roadblocks with the personnel who work there and with the management. There always seems to be an issue, and there always seems to be an excuse about helping the police officers. Both the people that were arrested in this state were highly intoxicated. They both indicated they'd been at the club, and that's why we have allegation number 2, sale or delivery of alcoholic beverage to an intoxicated person. Number 4, the assault and battery of a dangerous weapon. It's a little bit difficult to prove, although Mr. Russo said he was struck with it. We didn't find any debris inside the club, but he was assaulted inside the club with some sort of an item, whether it was a fist or a beer bottle. We were unable to determine because of the state of the intoxication of the individuals. You know, we've been there numerous times, Mr. Chairman, and I think it's time that we address the situation. There's been fights there. This gentleman's been before your commission 2 or 3 times within the past 3 or 4 months. This licensed establishment has a history of problems. Every owner that has had it within the last 8 to 10 years has run into problems, whether it's homicide, stabbings, fights, issues with the fire department, with the code department. I think you have to take stern action against this establishment today to send the message that they have to comply with your regulations and the state laws.
Okay. You have the right to respond to that, sir.
Okay, I have Michael, he's the bouncer. He was in charge that night of, the security, and he will be able to give you in more detail what really happened those 2 nights.
Okay. Come up to the mic, sir.
We're just gonna go on the first night, September 18th.
Yeah, we're just
okay?
doing the first night, the first
We'll give you a chance
complaint.
on the second one.
How we doing?
Oh, good.
Good.
What's your name?
Michael Rodriguez. I'm a bouncer at Roomba's nightclub.
Okay, where do you live, Michael?
Lowell, Mass.
Your address, for the record.
125 Grand Street, Lowell, Mass.
Okay, how old are you?
34 years of age.
Okay, how long have you worked there?
1 year, 2 weeks since the first day we opened.
Okay. In your own words, what happened?
The night in question right now is basically started outside the club before they even came inside the nightclub. It started with a parking space outside, to be honest with you. The people that were involved, one of the parties...
What do you mean by it started?
Not started as a physical, but more of an argumentative, because the people that were involved, one party of the people involved, were trying to parallel park into a spot, and the other party just pulled in forward to that spot.
Okay.
At that point, the gentleman jumped out of the car that was trying to parallel park and stated to him, we were trying to park there. Those 2 guys, Mark and Mike.
And you're standing at the door, you're witnessing this?
Yes, I am
Yeah,
witnessing
okay.
this. I'm the doorman, basically,
Okay.
at the club.
Yeah.
Mark and Mike didn't really care. They just got out of the car and said, I got there first. So I asked the other party just to pull over to the corner on John Street and parked right there on the corner.
So you say, wait a minute now, Mark and Mike, so these 2
Mark and
guys, this
Michael.
Mike Monsato and Mark, they know each other?
Yes, they're friends.
They're friends,
Yes.
okay. And you know them?
They've been to the club maybe 2 or 3 times.
You know them well enough to call them Mark and Mike?
Because, they did not know them as friends or anything like that.
All right.
I know him
So they're
because
regulars?
I know Mark more because of the fact that he kept on coming up to me after the fight took place.
Okay.
That you don't know who you're screwing with. I'm sorry. You don't know who you're messing with. I'm a police officer. I did ask him for credentials. He's told me that he didn't have any credentials.
Okay, so
on
what
him at that
happened
time.
after they, Mark and
One-
Mike?
Okay,
got
after
out?
the parking.
One of them told you they were a police officer?
Yes, Mark.
Okay, good.
After the parking situation, I'm gonna call the other parties Brazilians because it was a Brazilian night. The
Yeah.
Brazilian couple that came in.
Yeah.
As they were walking in, Mark's friend Michael was standing there. He's a pretty big guy,
Yeah.
bodybuilder, I would say. He's just standing there looking at him like if he was the king of the world, saying,
Yeah.
"And what?" You know.
Yeah.
The Brazilian couple just walked by him. It was a male and female. Brazilian
Yeah.
couple just walked by him, found a table, sat down, ordered their drinks.
Yeah.
Mark and Michael, pretty much throughout the whole night, were drinking, but giving them the evil eye, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
The Brazilian couple, sat down calm, danced when they wanted to dance. Now, at the time of the incident, I was actually stopping somebody at the door from trying to leave the club with alcohol on them. And at this time, I had to take my eye off of Michael. And when I did that, he started the fight. He was the one, because once I turned around, I saw his fist hitting the Brazilian guy.
Okay.
Okay, therefore, in a Brazilian night, at our Brazilian nights, if you're not a Brazilian, and this is not just Brazilian night, this is Hispanics, blacks, whites. If you got different mixes, different genders, okay, the people that are mainly there are gonna defend their own. So, and where Michael was a big guy, 2 or 3 more tried to break the fight up, but were unable to do it. By the time I got from the door to where the incident took place, which is approximately 75 feet, I wanna say, okay? By the time I got there, they were all on the ground, hugging each other, holding, like pinning each other against the ground, just trying to stop the fight. There was no beer bottle involved. It was a fist. Yeah, okay. The person, Mark, who's saying that he got hit by a beer bottle, he didn't get hit by the beer bottle. He got hit by me pushing him away, and he slammed his head into the elevator. We have an elevator there. It's not in use, but we have an elevator there. And that's how he got the bump on his head. Now, at that point, I kicked the whole part, all the participants that were in part of the fight, I kicked them all out of the nightclub. How the phone call came in, I don't know. It was stated that it was by a patron. No employees called because the fight was taken outside. Once it's taken outside, as we all know, it's no longer our responsibility. Okay, you explain to me.
Hold it. You just can't push him out the door and say,
No, not like that. Not like that. The Brazilian couple, they went into their car. They walked across the street, went into the car. Mark and Mike, their truck was right in front of the club. Okay, well, diagonally in front of the door.
Yeah.
Okay, they walked across the street. Michael, he decided that he didn't want to give it up. He went chasing the Brazilian couple. I chased after him to stop him from doing it. But there was another guy standing there, a friend of theirs. He just punched him for no reason. He wasn't even part of the fight, the original fight. He just ended up punching him in the left ear, I want to say.
Yeah.
Okay, for no reason.
these
At that
guys, you
point,
said, this Michael and Mark, they've been drinking all night there, they've been drinking.
yeah, they were there as patrons, and they did come in to drink and have a good time, do some dancing. Maybe they didn't sing. That night is a
Did they have
karaoke
some
night.
drinks before they got in? Could you tell?
I wouldn't say so, but I know that they both work at a particular restaurant here in Lowell. At least one of them works here because the banner for their vehicle, they have a magnetized sign that he puts on the vehicle. He's pulled up.
What time did everybody come in that night?
We start at 9. We start at 9. People start coming in around 10:30, 11 o'clock. Those two gentlemen came in, I want to say, probably around 11:30, midnight. They weren't there for that long. They were there for about a good hour and a half.
All right.
But that whole hour and a half that they were there, Mark was actually on the stage with the promoter for that night. And Mike was at the bar getting drinks, bringing them back to the stage.
Now, what would you say, it was some type of Brazilian night or?
It's a Brazilian karaoke night.
Okay.
Yes.
And you say, when you have those, other ethnic groups are involved, they don't like that? There's
No.
some
I'm
tension
saying
there,
if a fight breaks out between different ethnics,
Yeah.
that the majority of group that is there is going to defend their own.
All right.
No matter where you go, whether it's Hispanics, blacks, whites, Brazilians, Asians, they're all going to do that if there's a different ethnic trying to start a fight.
So you were in charge of the security that night?
I was in charge of the security.
Okay,
that
and you
night.
didn't make, you or nobody on your staff made a call?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I mean, I did ask who called the police. I thought the police just responded on their own because there was actually the first vehicle that pulled up was not in code or in alert. They didn't have the lights. They just saw that a lot of people in the street, then put the lights on. And then there was 2 or 3 more vehicles that did pull up and try to contain the fight that Mark and Mike were trying to continue. Everybody else was calm, and collective. And
Well, I
wanted to
mean,
go home.
like you said, they were looking from the get-go.
It started that way from the parking situation.
Why'd you let him in?
They've been there a few times before. They talked to the Brazilian promoter. I didn't know by that night that she didn't know them. She did tell me after the fight took place and after we closed the doors. We closed the doors at approximately 1:10 that night, where we usually stay to 1:30. That because of the fight, we closed it at 1:10.
Yeah, but why'd you let him when you sensed that there was almost, not a physical altercation, but they were, like a couple of cats, they had their hair up,
Understood.
Why'd they get into the club? Both couples.
Understood. Basically because they were patrons there before. They seemed like everything was done and over. The Brazilian couple seemed to let it go, and they did.
Yeah.
And this.
But the other two did, and those are your patrons, and those are the guys that get you in trouble. You don't need patrons like that, I'm telling you.
True.
What else you got?
In regards to that situation?
Yeah.
The officer who'd respond were too busy with the gentleman, Michael, I don't know the last name, because he was, going off. He just wanted to continue fighting. He didn't even know a police officer was behind him that was trying to calm him down. And when he did that, he actually threw an elbow behind. And that's when the officer pushed him down and arrested him. They never walked into the club before actually responding to the scene.
Yeah.
Us being reluctant to them, I was actually outside letting the officers know that I was going to lock the door as soon as they were done doing the arrest, that I would be here at the door so nobody else would come in, lock the door, and when they were ready to come in and find out the true story of what happened, that I would be here to let them in. In regards to the search, I personally assisted the two officers that came in. They came in with flashlights. We had all the house lights on. Searched through the bathrooms, searched through the walkways. I even escorted one officer behind the bar, and he searched with the flashlight behind the bar, and we couldn't find no wallets where Mark was stating that he had his credentials in as a police officer. But beforehand, when I was trying to hold him back from fighting, he had mentioned to me that he didn't have his credentials on him that night. But he was trying to state to the police officer that made the arrest of his friend that he did have his credentials on him that night that were stolen from him, as well as his cell phone and his glasses.
Okay. Now, Sergeant, you went back, what was the purpose? What were you looking for in there in terms of
They were
canvassing
looking
them?
for one of the individuals
is
who was
Mike on?
arrested.
My God.
They were looking for one of the individuals who was arrested's wallet and other items he said that he lost inside the licensed establishment.
Did you follow up to find out if this guy was actually a policeman?
He was arrested. It didn't make any difference to the officers who responded. He was arrested because of his disorderly conduct.
No, I understand that.
Currently, there is an investigation pending, and we believe he's going to be charged with impersonating a police officer.
All right, so you haven't found, okay.
I can't
I don't have
imagine
anything
that
further.
you allowed it to progress to that, the son really get. I can't imagine that you allowed it to progress to that point and nobody on your staff or that works at the bar made a call. That really bothers me. You're holding yourself out and saying that you were in charge of security or that you were, the bouncer or whatever the heck you want to call it, and you allowed it to progress to that point. I mean, it would just seem to me that it went almost beyond, I think you were lucky that a policeman pulled up, and I gather from the report that somebody else, obviously made the call, and thank God they did. Thank God they did. We might be looking at somebody being, murdered there. These things get insane after a while. We have a label for it now, and they call it road rage. It's a disease, so it gives people an excuse to act crazy. And God knows they don't need alcohol on top of it, and God knows we don't need policemen risking. They want to go home at night. They don't want to be sitting in a hospital because some clown didn't make a 911 call to try to stop this before it got. And your idea of, well, it went out on the street is completely off the wall. You are responsible for your parking area and for around that club. The people are leaving with the alcohol they consumed on your premises. And if they've overconsumed the alcohol, obviously there's going to be problems. And that's like saying, I give you a bottle of nitroglycerin here, and if you drop it outside hey, that's your problem, But it isn't. It's your problem.
Understood. I didn't mean that statement in that manner, but I understood. In regards to that,
Yeah, well, you know, you know, I've already got my own idea on that. Let's go to the next complaint.
With regards to the second complaint, on October 1st, 2006, at approximately 1:40, Officer Paul Thomas was dispatched to the nightclub, or to next door, for a report of a fight. There, the officer interviewed a female who explained that as she was leaving the Rumbus nightclub, that she was grabbed inappropriately and touched by a male patron. It was an indecent assault and battery based on the location of where he grabbed her, very close to her private parts, that the police had responded as a result of a 911 hang-up call. Subsequently, they identified the individual, the suspect, and then in speaking, they found that there was an altercation that occurred inside the club, and also once they were outside the club, there was also an altercation. Based on this, the woman was treated for swollen and lacerated bottom lip, and the Lowell Police Department checked the calls that were made. The only calls were made by 911 were not from the Rumbus nightclub. As a result of those actions, the police department filed this action regarding complaints 1, 2, 3, and based on failing to notify the police department, the fourth one as well.
once
Tell us
again,
what
sir,
happened.
once again, I was in charge, as I've stated, I am the doorman. I am pretty much the one in charge of searching and checking everybody coming in. That woman who was assaulted left the nightclub. She was at the nightclub, but she was leaving the nightclub to go to a different nightclub because she wasn't enjoying herself there that night. At the time, as she was walking down the corner of Merrimack towards Central, I want to say approximately between Mossy's and the Egyptian store that's there, I don't know the name of it, two gentlemen that were not even patrons at the nightclub walked by her and started talking to her, or being, how would I say it, loose with their words, if you want to put it that way, with her. Therefore, she opened her mouth and started calling them names, being with profanity and everything like that. And therefore, the two gentlemen were trying to argue their point while she was arguing her point. But at that time, I could not leave my position at the door because I was searching people, not searching, watching people from trying to leave with alcohol and searching people as they were coming in. I don't believe it was at 1:40. I believe it was more like around 1:15 when the incident did happen, because she was leaving our nightclub to go to another nightclub in Lowell. In regards to her being hit by the gentleman, I'll be honest with you, as I'm searching the people, if it did happen, I didn't see it happen. But the two gentlemen that were involved with her were not patrons at our nightclub that night. They were walking by after the situation happened. The police officers who responded had them on the bench, which is approximately in front of a new cell phone store that's next door to us. And when I saw that, after everybody was escorted out of the club because they were still there by the closing time of the nightclub, after everybody was escorted out, I actually walked up to the two gentlemen to see who it was that was getting arrested. And when I noticed them, they looked like minors, actually, to me, but I know for a fact that they were not patrons of the nightclub that night. She was. That's a fact. I know the woman in question. So, but I know that the two gentlemen that got arrested that night were not.
She says that she was accosted in the nightclub. That's her statement.
She was.
The woman that you know. That was
She-
leaving. She states that she was assaulted in the nightclub, coming down the stairs.
She wasn't assaulted in the nightclub. She was assaulted outside.
But you didn't see the assault outside. You just saw some argument.
Not the physical assault. I saw the verbal assault where the two gentlemen were stating words to her. She was dressed provocative that night, so when they saw her, it was like, wow, and so on and so on. But when she didn't like it, so therefore she opened her mouth and words exchanged. And after that, I was still continuing searching people who were trying to come in because we lock our doors. I do lock the door in regards to barricading doors. I do lock the door downstairs, the double door, at 1:30 so nobody else can come in when I go upstairs to push, to announce to the other bouncers and the other staff members that it's time to call last call and push out everybody out of the club.
How many people did you have in the club that night?
On the first,
This one?
maybe 100 the most that night.
Okay. And was there a special?
And that's including band members. We had a band, we had a live band there. The band members,
was a
in
band
in
night?
regards to patrons, we probably had like maybe 60, 70. But the band members, the electronic engineers who came in, there was a lot of equipment that was brought up that night. And everybody else, I would say about 100 people the most.
Now, you got a restaurant on the first floor, right?
Correct, there is a restaurant on the
What's
first
the hours of the restaurant?
floor. For eating wise,
Yeah, eating.
from 10 in the morning to 8 at night.
I'm sorry?
From 10 in the morning to 8 o'clock p.m.
To 8. And then after 8 o'clock, is the restaurant portion closed?
We do have a lock separating the restaurant from the nightclub stairs that lead up to the third floor. Our second floor is not being in use, it's storage right now. The third floor is where the actual nightclub is. It's not every night that the nightclub is open, it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
So you're opening like your crowd's not coming in until 10:30 at night,
Sometimes later.
sometimes later. So they've been out either some other place having a few drinks, or having a few drinks at home, or having a few drinks in the car before they get there, and then they come in there in an hour and a half, 2 hours that you're open. It's just, you've just become a magnet for problems. I mean, here again is another situation where, we've had problems with this before, and, here's a situation where, just these two complaints, that's all we're gonna consider, the two complaints, October 1st and September 18th and October 1st, and they're almost identical complaints. You didn't call the police, you got an assault and battery, you got, serving people. I think that you've just ended up attracting the wrong crowd. You got yourself in a situation where I think people are going out. I've tried to say this to people that own bar rooms and along the periphery of the city that don't close till 2 o'clock, and the towns close at 1 o'clock. And you'd be amazed at the number of drunks that jump in the car because they're going to come to Lowell because they're entitled to a last call. And you guys are dragging in the last of the crowd. And this is crazy because somebody's going to get hurt. And again, here's another one that started inside and spilled out on the street. Commissioner
What's
Garrett.
the prior, on these gentlemen here, prior complaints that we've had and the action we've taken on them?
I believe there's been at least 2 other matters before you on police complaints.
Okay.
The second of the 2 was when you took some disciplinary action.
Yeah. What
And
was
I
that
believe it
action?
was a curtailing of the hours.
That didn't work.
How long have you had this place? How long you been there?
1 year.
1 year?
And I think I remember that when you came for this license and you wanted to open this place, I think we tried to talk to you to tell you that we had had a lot of problems there before. And I'm not saying that all those problems are yours, but it certainly sounds to me that after a year that you have inherited them. And on a night like this, when number one is just the basic, simple request that we make, please call the police. Allow the police so that some police officer doesn't walk in there and he's overpowered by 50, 60 people. That at least they can come in a force and at least have the opportunity to try to protect themselves. And there might be people that always say the police are never there when you want them. But they're not the people that are going to walk in and try and save your business from these clowns. And we have asked you consistently to do that. Call, dial 911, and let them know that something's gone wrong. by the time that one cruiser gets there, the police department has experience enough to know that they can have 2 or 3 other cruisers on the way responding. So hopefully it doesn't get blown out of proportion.
In regards to that, sir, I actually have the police department main number, the 937-3200, because if you go through 911, it takes a few seconds. And I have dialed for the other 2 incidents, well, the first incident that we've
Look, I
had.
don't care what number you got. Obviously, you haven't called, so that's not helping. But I mean, if I was having a heart attack, I want my wife to call 911, okay?
That's understood.
Trust me in what I'm saying. I want 911.
I'm just trying to state.
I didn't have her call.
I'm trying to state
This time she's gonna
that
call.
in regards to our position at the club,
No.
I have called the police. The actual first incident that ever happened at the club was a domestic violence case. It wasn't something that it was a fight in the nightclub. It was just a guy and girlfriend that had too much to drink. Well, not so much too much to drink. Not so much too much to drink. Just had. I guess you
Had a few beers and they got their muscle up, and that's what happens.
And it
when,
wasn't-
and you're trying to justify this by coming up with these excuses. I'm sorry, I don't go along with those kind of excuses. You know something? You're in that business. You chose to be in that business. And it sounds to me like you got every half nut in the country coming into your place, and you're trying to make an excuse why this guy's drinking and that guy's not, and they're not getting along. Let me tell you something. You're the babysitter. You're the babysitter. And if something starts to go wrong, you call the parents right away. You don't let the baby choke to death. Well, you call the police right away. So I don't care whether you got 911 or 18 other phone numbers. You need some time to think about this. You're only open on the nightclub Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm gonna make a motion. You're closed for 4 weekends in a row. And tell the people go someplace else and start anew. And you can keep the restaurant open, but the nightclub is closed, as far as I'm concerned. Somebody's going to get hurt. We try consistently to work with people. We don't want to see somebody get hurt. And we don't want to see you get hurt financially. But you know what? The people that are causing all these problems, they're not here. Where are they? They're not here saying what great guys you are. They could care less. The guy that hit the guy in the head with the beer bottle or whatever, he's not here saying, gee, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. He could care less.
Understood. They're not here to defend us or defend
Well,
themselves.
I mean, this is, you've only owned the place for about a year. The first violation we had, okay, told you about it, you know what you got to do. Second violation, we're trying to work with it, we're trying to work with you. Second violation,
working.
we rolled it back. The Commissioner's right, it's not working. So we've got to shut you down, and we have to shut you down. If it's, I agree with the Commissioner in terms of shutting down we'll leave the restaurant open part of it, but the nightclub's got to shut down. If we want to do it for a month, then we'll do it for a month of a shutdown, and that's got to happen. There's no other alternative we have. It's just not, you guys aren't doing the job there. It's plain and simple. And if a month's not going to be enough to get it back in gear when you come back and open, it's going to be a longer, if not a revocation, So it's up to you. I mean, it's up to you. It's a situation here that, even you've been honest with us in terms of, you didn't call in. You have to call in. And the fact that it's your license. It's the most important thing. You can't let a guy in if they get their claws up outside your place before even they come in there. It's an invitation for trouble. And guess what? There was trouble. So, I mean, I think, a month is probably pretty generous. I was thinking more along the terms of 2 months, and in the spirit of a compromise, I'd go 6 weekends with the nightclub closed. That's my thinking, because we've gone the steps. We said, okay, this is your first one here. Let's go. You got to do these certain things. We do it with everybody. And to be frank with you, we haven't had 4 complaints against any other bar within a year period. And you're going on a route that you're going to lose it. If you don't take corrective matters, right now, I'm going to make a motion for, closing for 6 weeks, the nightclub aspect of that, the third floor, I guess it is. If you don't take action right now during this 6-week period to get the game together, you're not going to have a license. And you invested a lot of money there, but hey, we're doing what we can do. We're not going to let it go on. it can't go on. So you got 6 weeks, if the commissioner's gonna second my motion here, you got 6 weeks to get it together, and I strongly recommend that you evaluate it, you tear it up and down, you do whatever you gotta do. Because, after that, when you open those doors, it's gonna be a spotlight on you. Because we gotta make sure that you understood, you gotta take action on it. You have to clean it up, you gotta clear it up, you gotta run the place like it's your house. You're not gonna let these people in your house that are gonna be destructive like that. You got the wrong people in there, The people in there, they don't care about your license, they could care less. They're going in there for a couple of drinks. When I go into a bar, I care less about the guy's license. I'm going in there, I'm gonna have my drink, I'm gonna have my dinner, I'm gonna get out. I don't think about the guy's license, and I'm a commissioner, so these people they don't care about your license. It's up to you to care, And again, we're not sitting here in a vacuum. We've gone along the steps. This is the 4th complaint this year. Too many. So I'm gonna make a motion to close it for 6 weeks, the nightclub aspect of it.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I couldn't agree more with what Mr. Geary and yourself are saying. Absolutely. What concerns me is the management style that's occurring down there, particularly with the individual who puts himself as the bouncer. He stated to your commission that he took one of the victims, or one of the defendants that was arrested, and slammed his head against an elevator. He never called the police. He never called an ambulance to make sure he was okay, and that troubles me. It truly does. And I think that the owner of the bar has to make some management style changes in respect to who's at the door and what kind of security he has.
I think you gotta have a total overhaul.
When he came before your commission, he told you, and I was sitting right here, that he was gonna have police officers there and sufficient police personnel and security personnel on the premises to make sure that his establishment remains safe. He hasn't done that.
Right.
Never once has he called for a police officer to work down there, and I see one individual here who said he's watching the stairs, watching the sidewalk,
Right.
watching the parking. Something has to change down there in conjunction
Well, we're
with...
going to give him, Sergeant Shaw, I'm going to second the motion. We're going to give him, I thank Commissioner Gary for doing that. We're going to give you the 6 weeks to figure out a game plan. You got to understand that you're going up that slippery slope, okay? I mean, I don't know where you come up with, well, gee, they were having a domestic problem, so they came in for a couple of drinks.
No, they don't.
If somebody was having a domestic problem, I'd bother them
The
from
domestic
the
problems
place.
happen after they were
I
after
know,
they were left.
but
We're just
you
giving you-
can't-
we're giving you an
know what I mean?
opportunity,
We're
6
trying to
weeks.
make you think. We're trying to
Mr.
make you
Pino,
think,
6 weeks, your money.
okay?
Your problem.
So I'm going to second his
So-
motion that the nightclub is closed. The upstairs is closed. The restaurant may stay open for its normal hours of operation. What was it, what'd you say, 12?
10 to 8.
Okay, for your normal hours of operation in the restaurant, but the nightclub is closed for the next 6 weekends in a row, starting, well, we can't start this, we have to give him, Mr. Secretary.
Well, for purposes of the licensee's right to appeal the
Right.
decision, generally upon receipt of the written notice, the licensee has 5 days in which one may file an appeal to the Alcohol Beverages
Okay.
Control Commission.
Give us a date on the letter. What's good?
Suggest Thursday, November 16th.
Thursday,
November,
starting Thursday, the 16th.
November the 16th.
Okay, do you
For
understand
6
that?
consecutive weekends.
The Secretary will send you a letter of our findings, and it will commence on the weekend of the 16th, and it will be for 6 weekends to follow. You have the right of appeal to Boston if you want. You feel that we're being unjust. We're trying to be as fair as we possibly can. The next step, if you're back, you're going to have the 16th, you're going to have this weekend and next weekend that you're going to be open. I would pray that you would not be appearing before us for some problem that occurs this weekend or next weekend for another hearing. I would hope that you would take steps, possibly call the police department or somebody to make sure that I didn't do something to cross that line. Okay?
Understood.
All right. Did we vote on that? We did. No, we didn't. I second your motion. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Good idea. Thank you.
ROD, RIG, UEZ.
Okay? We have a political question here. Vote no on question 1.
It's just wine.
It's just wine. Yep. The famous last beer. It was just a sombrero. It'll never hurt her.
Mr. Chairman,
Next on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, there had been scheduled, per your order of the last scheduled meeting, to have, on the matter of a complaint against the licensee of record, Mango Tango Inc., be heard this afternoon. The manager of record for the licensee, Stan Thatch, the business is located at 602, 608 Merrimack Street. It's known as Mango Tango Hot Pot and Grill. She, through her legal counsel, has requested that the matter be continued to the next scheduled meeting, which is to be November the 16th at 3 o'clock. We have a written communication to that effect.
I'll make a motion that we continue.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Next on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, within this past week, a new application had been filed for a new license for premises at 1280 Westford Street. The applicant is a corporation known as New World Group, Inc. The principal officer in the corporation is a Robert S. Almeida. Mr. Chairman, this particular matter, I reviewed the application and took some time to see that there are more than several deficiencies in the application as it's filed. I would recommend to the board that I communicate to the applicant that certain matters need to be addressed with respect to this application before the board would want to consider holding a public hearing. In addition to that, this is also the premises that was known to be the premises for the New Paradise Buffet. And you may recall this past year we've had complaints from the Lowell Police Department on a number of occasions when the licensee at that time had been in violation of certain laws and rules and regulations. And I also just would point out to you, Mr. Chairman, that in this new application I just made reference to, the person who is being proposed as the manager of record was an officer in the corporation that was intended to be the new licensee pertaining to the business known as the New Paradise Buffet.
Okay. I think what I'd like to do with this is turn it over to the solicitor's office. I believe there's a statute that says that we don't have to grant a license there for a minimum of 1 year based on this. So if you could kind of review that for us to find out, first of all, I believe that, and I mean, I think it's quite obvious there's a tie here between the former and the new. There's quite a list of things by the secretary to be, but I really don't think the secretary should. Yes.
My understanding is that if an application is denied, it would be a year before they could reapply. What exactly?
I thought it was, for all intents and purposes, we made a deal with the New Paradise. And I remember, because this was a place that we had multiple problems, and we agreed, based on Sergeant Trudell's recommendation and this board, that we would allow them that 1 day, that we would not revoke their license, to allow them that one event, but that in essence their license was revoked.
They surrendered it after that.
The only thing they gave up was the right of appeal. They said, and if I remember correctly, and I guess this is why we need you to research this, they said that if we granted them that, they wouldn't appeal our decision to revoke.
So the question is, the license, the original predecessor
Right.
license was revoked because now.
I don't think it was revoked.
It wasn't. We made an
They
agreement.
surrendered the license.
They surrendered it because we agreed to let them have it for that one other event and we were going to revoke it. Sergeant Trudell and the management wanted us to allow them to have that one wedding or whatever it was, am I right?
Yeah, we had to have like 8 police
And
officers.
we said, we'll do that, and you surrender the license the day after, okay, and you give up the right to appeal, and they agreed.
Okay. So what I will need, and I'm not sure still what you're asking, the law department can give opinions based on a set of facts presented to us. I'm hearing that the license may have been revoked, it may not, it may have been surrendered. Whatever the facts are, they'll be dispositive and it'll be specific. So we would need specific facts to come to us from which we would simply take the facts and apply the law to those facts.
Okay, the fact was, we were gonna revoke the license. And in essence, it was revoked. The only thing that we did was we stipulated that, maybe you can explain it better than I.
No, I think, Mr. Chairman, you've basically made the case on, certainly if you wish to have the law department review it, as to the basis of the licensing authority considering a new license application when in fact the previous licensee of record at that location had done sufficient, had done a number of there were a number of instances where the licensee had been acting in such a way that there would be cause for disciplinary action by the License Commission. And based on the last matter, when this particular licensee, known as the New Paradise Buffet, was to have been closed for 3 days, and in fact remained open, in which at that time when it was open, a young lady in particular, and several people in particular, were seriously injured in the parking lot outside New Paradise Buffet. And as my understanding was, that legal counsel for the New Paradise Buffet had approached the board with, in a conciliatory manner, to ask the board for one opportunity to allow the licensee to remain open for a given scheduled wedding. Sergeant Trudell spoke on behalf of the Lowell Police Department, recognizing that it was just a matter of having this one event in which, as Commissioner Geary made certain stipulation to the matter by making sure that there would be at least 6 detailed police present during the scheduled wedding. And for purposes of not having this matter of the hearing continued to another date, where the chance of this matter being prolonged, where the possibility of the licensee looking to appeal a decision, should that be such that I think it's fair to say that there was sufficient cause for the License Commission to revoke a license in that matter. So Sergeant Trudell spoke on behalf of the Lowell Police, accepting the word of the counsel for the licensee, and that there would be waive the purpose of the complaint.
Right.
Now, the fact is, you have a new license application, and there's a lot that can be read into the matter. It would be presumptuous of this board at this time to speak of it publicly, but I certainly have taken the time to review the paperwork, and certainly there is cause to continue this matter for another date and notify the applicant of the deficiency in the application itself.
As we always do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way it
And the other thing is, there is certain, as I understand it through having listened to legal counsel for the Alcohol Beverages Control Commission explain it, that in certain instances when there is a revocation of license, the licensee is precluded from being allowed to have a license for at least 1 year, if not 2 calendar years, and also that the premises itself may be such that no license may be granted for 1 year or longer. I think, I'm not sure of the particular instances where the state may have had addressed this in the court, and possibly, I think, Mr. Chairman, you might have reason to want to refer this to the law department on that purpose.
That's what I'd like to do. If you could possibly, at least by the next meeting, we'll take this in the normal, But I would like to know and be on terra firma, because I remember some years ago, it's a similar situation where we were told that the premises that had been licensed was barred from having a license for at least 1 year.
I'm just trying to figure out are you asking to find out, generally speaking, what are the applicable rules and laws?
Yes.
On certain things? Because again, it's going to depend on, if it turns out their license was never revoked, you couldn't treat it as a revoked license. You'd have to, it would be, whatever the facts are, you would apply them. But I can find out what the, different options are depending on what happened. That I can do. So that's what...
That's what we need
Okay.
to know, because we need to look at this thing again before we, I mean, I'm not saying that these people, but I think I would want to take a long, hard look at that establishment before we get back into it again.
Yeah, and there'll be time for that.
Okay?
Okay.
I appreciate that. Okay. I think have you got anything else?
Well, I just, only thing I would just, as a follow-up to something that was discussed at the last scheduled meeting on October the 19th, there is another licensed establishment in the city of Lowell on Middlesex Street in which there was serious concern about overcrowding. And the licensee of record, the business known as La Pradera, had an event at 1717 Middlesex Street, Units 6 and 7, which is the second floor of the building. The police report alleges that there were at least 300 people on the premises, and the certificate of inspection that has been issued to the licensee allows for no more than 200 people on the premises. This matter was per the order of the License Commission at the last meeting. I sent written communication to the fire chief and to the Commission of Inspectional Services. There is a response from the acting Commissioner of Inspectional Services, and he does acknowledge that there is an occupancy of 200 and not to exceed that. And it does allude to the fact that there could have been a disastrous situation. So to wish whether the licensing board would want to pursue this further by having the licensee, the manager appear before you, or just to put it on file is...
Let's have them in.
I would think we'd want them in. I wondered, I think one of the reasons this came up was the fire department did not respond to this, did they? Wasn't that in the report that a call was made to the fire? As I understand, see, these are the things, the bureaucracy, and if I'm wrong, just say so, I'll stay, it says, a request for the fire department was denied. Okay? And when I was a trustee at the auditorium, I was always told that only the fire department can declare a place overpopulated or whatever you call it. Is that true or false?
I would have to check, but I believe the fire, generally speaking, it falls under fire marshal
Right.
duties, and the fire department chief would be...
Okay. And all I'm not looking to get anybody in trouble or anything, but all I'm looking for is to find out the police asked for assistance and it was denied. Okay? Does that put the ability to the police to disperse the crowd?
I would think if...
It would seem to me that somebody would have been around that would have went down there.
You would always have, if it's a code violation, if it's a building code violation, you could always have inspectional services come down.
You would call St. Hilaire at home or on a beeper?
Mr. Chairman, if I can just point that one point in this
Yeah.
particular report. In this particular instance, Mr. St. Hilaire was unavailable.
That's
In
right,
fact,
he wasn't called.
I
It says
understand,
right here
well,
that-
he was sought out and he was communicated to, but I in fact spoke to him and he mentioned that he was out of state at the time.
Okay.
It would have been impossible for him to return in that moment.
Okay. Let's get him in. I think you need to, sometimes we assume that everything is flowing in the same direction, and you read something like that, say, well, why didn't somebody go down and whoever it was, whether
You could certainly send the License Commission could send a letter to the fire chief inquiring.
we did, didn't we?
Mr. Chairman, I did send communication pointing out the police report to the fire chief and to the Commissioner of Inspectional Services.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything from the fire department, did we? There's been no response. We did, there was no response. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a breakdown of communication somewhere. We're not trying to pin anybody. It's just a breakdown. I think inspectional services can come in with and say, here's their certificate, it says 200 people, but I think the fire department has responsibility, or whomever has responsibility. But we need just to, so that there was a chain of evidence that it was overcrowded, that there were problems, and, you know, somebody said, well, you're not the one that's supposed to file that complaint. Whatever. Okay?
Yeah, well, I understand what you're saying, but I don't know what you want me to do about it.
Nothing, I just want,
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think what I'll do is I'll just communicate to the manager of record for La Pradera,
that's what we'll do, we'll
Louis
get him
Lee,
in.
to have him come in,
Okay.
and just to point out what
We need to know, you know, we just want to make sure we covered our bases on, you know, which way we went. Anything else? Anything you'd like to bring up, Sergeant Trudell?
No, Mr. Chairman.
No. Motion to adjourn, seconded. All in favor, say yes. Yes. Hi, Benjamin.